back, everybody. I am Steve McLean with the Little Red Dog. This is for the love of dog. And we paid our electrical bills. We have at least...
Lights are on.
We do. We can have at least one more show. Way to go. Way to go. Thank you for keeping us on. Appreciate it. Gary Newcomb is a dog trainer. He's my favorite dog trainer. How are you doing? How are you doing today, Gary?
I'm doing very, very well.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm good.
Ready for a high energy show.
I'm ready for a high energy show. And speaking of high energy, how many times when we go out on training sessions, or even with our own dogs, how many times a week do you hear the word Zoomie? Zooms.
I hear it a lot.
Yeah.
What's really funny to me is when I meet people that don't know what a Zoomie is and they think their dog has gone crazy.
Yeah, my dog has these weird power seizures.
Yes.
Right. For me, when people kind of complain about it, I don't really necessarily understand why they're complaining about it. It's not a big deal to me, but I've always kind of assumed it was just kind of a release of energy. However, especially with Nigel. Nigel is always the culprit of everything. Star. He's always doing something we hate, but we love him anyway. You would take Nigel on a typical, pack walk, and he gets to play fetch for at least 10, 15 minutes, really tire his ass out. And literally, I know he's tired after the walk, but sometimes we'll bring him back into the house, and he is just... he gets in, he gets excited, and he starts doing the Zoomies.
Well, I mean, you can guarantee that you're not going to wear Nigel's battery to 0%.
No,
it's never going to happen.
That's true.
So lots of people think I give my dog a good half-hour walk. Your dog, you're burning 25 to 75% of that, depending on what kind of dog you have.
Right.
So your dog always has a reserve when it gets back. Whether or not you trigger it to, do Zoomies is going to be another thing. So we got a couple of videos. One is to demonstrate Zoomies to those who don't know. Okay. So while we're loading that up, why don't you kind of, just for our listeners that don't watch our podcast, why don't you just kind of explain what we think a Zoomie is? How we define a Zoomie, sorry. Zoomie is basically where your dog just runs around, usually in a circle, and, it's uncontrollable. The dog is like a superior excitement level.
Okay.
So
I like that.
So as to the cause of it, like we said it's energy based, but as to why they do it, when they do it, nobody's ever looked into why. So now the marvels of veterinary science have delved deep into the most important question of dog ownership. Why do dogs do Zoomies? So watch this dog. This husky's whoosh.
Wow, that's so
watch
cute.
This third one. God.
I'm gonna watch you.
Yeah.
And then he's back.
Full size.
Then he's
back. That's a big dog to jam under a couch that fast.
I know. He did it with such ease. Or she did it with such ease. So
yeah, this is a Zoomie. Basically, the dog has had a burst of energy and
explosion of energy.
Yeah,
and it's always cute.
It is.
I mean, I think it's kind of funny.
I don't take issue with it. Obviously, if your dog is destructive or something and doing
you gotta do something with it, right?
If you have a husky, you probably shouldn't have like fine china sitting on the low living room table, because this is very likely with a husky.
Okay, so tell us about what the vets have discovered here. What causes the Zoomies?
So did
they give it a scientific name?
They did.
Okay, what do they call it?
They call it FRAPS.
FRAPS?
FRAPS.
Is that an acronym?
Yep. Frenetic Random Activity Periods.
Lord.
And they're natural and seen in many domesticated and wild animal species.
Oh, really?
Wild animals get the Zoomies. I've never seen like a squirrel bolting around my yard, but that would
cool. Explain it.
Yeah.
Why squirrels are kind of squirrely.
Yeah. So what's odd, though, is they call it a random activity, but obviously through the study they found that it's not random. They found that there's triggers.
Okay.
So the triggers are basically your dog has an abundant amount of energy stored up.
Okay.
And something happens that has excited the dog, so it basically flipped the switch on. So the ones that they use are when a puppy comes out of the crate. So puppy's been resting in the crate for a while. When they come out, they're 100% likely that's going to be a trigger for them. An owner coming home.
Okay.
So your dog's been, we think that our dogs, are doing something during the day. They're not. They're sleeping on the couch.
If you did your walk right, yeah.
Yeah. So if you did your morning walk right, yes, then your dog's been sleeping for a good 6 hours on the couch waiting for you to come.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. So you come home and all of a sudden, jumper cable's sparking. That dog's gone.
Very cool.
So another frequent one is bath time. but they have actually said that one is usually generated by nervous energy.
I was just going to say, so far, every example you've given has been kind of a release of happiness, almost like dancing for us.
Yes.
Right? For the humans, like when we feel good, we want to dance.
Yep.
And rejoice.
So the assumption for that one that you hear a lot is that the dog is drying itself.
That's what I thought, but what is it?
No, the dog's shake is way more effective than a Zoomie.
It's true.
So it's just a matter of they had an abundant amount of nervous energy that ramped up.
Yeah.
Got out of the bathtub, got a little, good boy, and boom.
Yeah. Okay, I guess you could still look at that as still a rejoice. Like, because I'm out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm done with getting bathed.
Yes.
Right. I want to go smell like a dog again.
Yeah. So that's what they found, is that they are triggers. On top of that, we have another video that shows that basically, as owners, we can promote our dogs to do Zoomies.
Okay.
For everything we want to do, we want to teach the dog a positive association to something. So if you do that, you give the dog a reward for doing Zoomies. When the dog naturally does do Zoomies, they want to do it. So for me personally, if I go Zoomy, I slap my dog on the butt, he's gone. He'll start doing loops around the whole house.
All right.
So
it's kind of a trick.
Exactly.
Sure.
So you can take anything that you do.
Right.
So this one's kind of a weird one.
That's cute.
And that the dog's wearing a diaper.
I like how it's jumping on a little kid.
But yeah, it's jumping at this kid who's petrified of it.
Is that a diaper?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not a diaper. It's a what do you call that band?
I think that's a boy dog diaper.
Oh, maybe it is. Oh, it's for how, you know what that is? It's for potty training.
So you see how the dog always comes back and looks at the owner?
Yes.
Gets the acknowledgement and then does it again?
Yes.
This dog is trained Zoomies.
It's a cute dog.
So yes,
That's
this
cute.
dog is looking for the attaboy.
Yeah.
Bam. Goes back and does it again.
He's like,
So
which way do I go?
this isn't exactly a spontaneous Zoomie. This is a trained Zoomie. And if you wanted to train your dog and, like the circles.
That's so cute.
So yeah, you can train your dog to do Zoomies by just giving them the positive reinforcement when they do it.
It is entertaining.
And if you didn't want the dog to do it, then you could try correcting it. And most dogs would probably stop doing it. But you'd obviously, we always say your correction has to match the dog's energy level. What is that energy level?
Yeah, that's a 12.
Yeah.
That's a 12.
So if you want to come in on your dog on a 12 to try to stop this kind of excitement, then you can always shut that down.
Insanely Milo.
Yeah. Milo is definitely a little insane.
Well, I mean, I would say, when I do go to a training session, the family, like one family in 30 will say, "Hey, how do we stop these?"
Yes, it is a problem. Yeah.
And I always go, why is it bothering you?
Yeah.
To me, it's always been like a dance.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, it's kind of a happy. You never see a sad dog.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's like Eeyore is gonna go, okay. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm very nervous and scared, but I'm gonna do the Zoomies.
Right. Well, that's really cool. I mean, I always, whenever I'm teaching a family or anybody about dog behavior, I'm always trying to get them to understand our philosophy is based in science and biology. It's not voodoo. It's not.
We don't make it up as we go.
No, we don't make it up as we go. And that's why, I'm always telling people don't rely on food all the time because it's not a legitimate event that happens in their real world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mama dog doesn't carry a treat bag.
No, and neither does the alpha inside the cage.
No.
Right? Hey, Sparky, you did such a good job today. Here's an extra piece of meat.
Thanks for not charging me, challenging me for alpha. Here's a treat.
And actually what people need to understand, it's quite the opposite. The alpha is always trying to keep balance.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping himself healthy. At the same time, he can't feed the pack too much. He doesn't want someone to
getting big and strong.
That's right. And it's that cold-hearted, and that is the base of your dog.
Yep.
I want you to love your dog and have that great.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to approach it like an alpha dog.
Exactly.
Where you are withholding food from them and you know keeping your constant flex, but you have to be able to flex when your dog needs to be flexed.
Yeah, and but what I'm always telling people is exactly what you just said. You don't have to do that, but that's what you're selling.
Yes.
You always want to sell, hey, if you get out of line, no food for you.
Yep. Yeah. No, I tell people, dogs are, you act with your dogs. Put on an act. If you don't have that drill sergeant mentality, put on a drill sergeant act. Your dog's not a good judge of character.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's so true. That's so good. I'm gonna rip that off because I do the same thing, but in a different way. I say if you're not confident, you need to get there, work on that. If you have a horrible temper like me, you need to work on that. But I love the fact that you just said your dog's not going to necessarily know, but you got to, as long as you're selling it and working on it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. I like Dad. I remember it was actually on a comedy show where a dad was worried about teaching his son basketball, and the guy wasn't a basketball player. He never played basketball his whole life, but his 5-year-old wanted to learn how to play basketball. And so the line is, even though you're not a good basketball player, you're going to be better than your 5-year-old. So all you got to do is act like you know what you're doing. The 5-year-old is going to think, oh my God, you're amazing.
Yes.
And that's all it is with the dog.
Yeah.
Just fake it, like you said, fake it till you make it. And that, in a nutshell, really is the whole backbone of dog behavior, is you're trying to fulfill the role.
We gave away the nut.
Yeah.
There it is.
And you're
okay, this is the last episode of For the Love of Dog.
Tune in next week when we talk about, God damn it, I just bought a cat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
For the love of cats.
We're not gonna... All right, everybody. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. This is Steve and Gary for the Love of Dog. Please tune in every Monday. It's when we download our new show.
We upload it.
We download, upload. You're right. Upload, downstream, upstream. Goes, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Please, please, please keep your attention on us. Hey everybody, I'm Steve with the Little Red Dog. Thanks so much for listening for the Love of Dog podcast. Please subscribe. If you're listening, please rate us and let us know if we're doing horribly or awesome. We need that feedback. Also, when you do subscribe to YouTube, you'll get an alert for our virtual adoption events. We need your input. We need you to watch and support our cause. Thank you so much. We're on a mission from Dog. Take care, everybody.
10 we're talking. You're an ignorant bitch.
Looking at you. With the whale's vagina. Right. Sorry, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Man, you know what we were doing.
Yes, we're being fun. We're just having so much fun.
Having a great time.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the For Love of the Dog. Oh, God. Welcome back.
You haven't done that in so long.
I haven't. I've been so good. Welcome back to For the Love of Dog podcast. I'm PJ Rosh, co-founder of the Little Red Dog. I'm here with the communications bitch, MacKenzie McLean, also AKA my daughter. So, we had talked about in a previous segment, marketing for nonprofits. Really, that advice could have been used for any business because it really was, sound and what you really should be doing, especially in terms from a social media perspective. I thought right now we could maybe you're interested, maybe you're not, but I think MacKenzie works super hard on our fundraising, and it is honestly a huge part of a nonprofit. Honestly, I never thought that. I didn't even think about it. I thought when we started the Dog Rescue, we're just going to be saving dogs and having fun, but fundraising is a huge part of it. So, MacKenzie, unfortunately for us, MacKenzie works for other nonprofits as well, but it's good because she brings a good perspective from a variety of different nonprofits. So maybe talk about fundraising. And I know, Jess Campbell, shout out to Jess Campbell, out in the boons.
Out in the boons.
And she has been a great, resource and cheerleader for us, especially. So maybe talk about some things.
Yeah, it's funny because, and if you listen to our social media part, you know a little bit of this. I didn't even know fundraising was a job. I didn't know what development meant until I met Jess, and she told me, I help nonprofits fundraise, and I was like, whoa, my parents have a nonprofit. And so she really is the reason why I got into it, because I realized how fascinating and awesome it is. It also sucks majorly about 75% of the time.
Fundraising is hard.
It is hard. And it is so hard, but I think I definitely love the challenge of it, especially with the pandemic. I think I'm probably one of the only people in the world to say this, but I have loved the challenge of the last year of creating campaigns that are successful that can't be in person. So, yeah, fundraising.
Yeah, fundraising. I think the pandemic really did I know for everybody, came out of nowhere, came out of left field, whatever. Mm-hmm. We heard about it, you know, kind of December, January. It was in China. I didn't really pay attention to it. I mean, all of a sudden, about a year ago, you know, I think it was CNN that said this is a pandemic, or the World Health Organization said this is a pandemic. And I'm like, wait, what? Because we had a lot of in-person events.
Oh, it was
scheduled.
probably like one of our biggest years. Because, yeah, that is like right when I think I hopped on board on like December 2019. I'm having like major roles here.
Yeah.
And yeah, we panicked for sure. And I don't think a lot of people realize, a quick side note, that we and a lot of nonprofits are not government funded. We don't get corporate funding. We do try, but we are not funded by any big corporations, and we don't win any big grants. And we do try. We apply for grants every year, but the dog rescue world is pretty saturated.
So competitive.
And competitive that the past years made me realize, like, let's just kind of not focus on grants, because individual giving has been so awesome, even though it's so hard. It is a full-time job, but I mean, we cannot save the next life without money. Unfortunately, a lot of money. I mean, some of our individual dog vet bills are like $3,000, and the only way we do that is by getting $25 donations from everyone. I mean, half of it is the adoption fee will cover. The adoption fee covers about half of how much that costs to save the dog. So then we have to raise the other half. And if it's a medical case, we have to save even more. Raise even more to save that dog. So I think when I'm gonna realize, like, holy shit, that vet bill says $25,000. That was like a kind of a big eye opener for me. And I was like, I'm not asking for us or the team. I'm asking to save the next life. And that was kind of an eye opener for me. And I think I definitely had some fails at the first fundraising things we did. I've learned so much the past year, but yeah, when the pandemic hit, I've never seen my dad so panicky, in my adult life at least. I've never seen him so panicky about when everyone started going into quarantine and everything. Not only about getting dogs adopted, he was worried about that. Not only getting dogs adopted, but if we can't have in-person events, what the hell are we going to do to pay these vet bills off?
Right.
Because he is our CFO, and he handles all of that stuff, and he knows that money was running out. And we had a golf tournament planned. Our golf tournament was at the time our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's not anymore. It was our biggest fundraiser. I think $30,000 is what we did.
Usually around $30,000.
And just so everyone knows, it costs on average about $700, right, to save one healthy dog.
Right.
And like everything goes into that. Their spay, their neuter, their vaccination, like everything medical, their food, supplies, like so much stuff goes into it that you don't even think about. The little things add up like crazy. But that's one healthy dog. If it's a dog that needs a dental or surgery or surprises come up all the time health-wise, it's $1,000 plus at least.
Right.
So money was running out, and we were like, oh shoot, and the golf tournament was canceled, and that meant $30,000 was not going to be made, and I think we panicked pretty hard. What was our first fundraiser during the pandemic?
I can't believe you don't know that. It was the telethon.
Holy.
Doesn't that seem so long ago?
Oh my god, it was the freaking telethon. I'll be honest, and I think this is what I learned so much from when you and Dad told me about the telethon idea. I just didn't really get it. I was just like, how are we going to make money from that?
Probably never saw a Jerry Lewis telethon.
And then I think you guys called me. I live in LA, everyone. I come down here every other week. You guys called me and you said, we're doing this. It's going to be like a 2-hour show one night. I was at my friend Haley's house, and my jaw was on the ground. I was like, what? And it was kind of the first thing you guys kind of put on my shoulders, which was awesome. That they have so much trust in me. I'm such a lucky daughter that my parents have so much trust in me and believe in me.
She's earned it.
Thank you. But yeah, I definitely was like oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't think this is going to make any money. I was being super negative, like, you know. Yeah. And,
I do know.
Yeah. And, but then I woke up one morning and I was basically like, Mook, my parents call me Mookie. I was like, Mook, if you don't just shut up and get to work, it's not going to work. So just get up and do it and figure it out. and I just hit the ground pretty hard. It was a huge success, by the way.
It was a huge success.
So yeah, I should listen to my parents more often. But
that's the lesson here.
But it was a huge success. We raised $10,000, I think. Was that one? The first one was $10,000?
Oh no, we raised more than that. We raised like 20 or 25.
Oh, did we?
Maybe 20. I think like 20. 18 or 20.
Yeah, it was Gary Cannon. I just was DMing like 100 people a day. Like, do you want to be in this telethon with us? Just send your 2-minute pre-recorded video to us. We were having meetings with Sam and Koji. And we kind of, like, for lack of a better term, did pull it out of our ass, this telethon, and it was so awesome.
It was, and I think, just to step in Mackenzie's defense, the first time we had started doing virtual adoption events, and in Mackenzie's defense, I always have these crazy ideas, which everybody needs to help me ratchet down.
We're always wrangling you in.
Always wrangling me. And so I said, okay, it's going to be a telethon, it's going to be 24 hours. And I'm sure Mackenzie was like, what I think I started almost crying. Are we going to do for 24 hours? So then I thought a lot about it. I thought maybe 2 hours would be good. Obviously, we did involve Montevideo, like Mackenzie said, Sam and Koji. They had brought good ideas. They brought the platform, how we were going to actually do this, broadcast for 2 hours. And then, you got some real, it was just asking. Yeah. We got some really great participation.
Well, yeah, and I think it was totally a team. Every single person that had anything to do with that night, like, made a huge impact. But I think I said earlier, like, I did some fails because I just would have done things way differently now. Not necessarily with our planning of it, but the way we, like, marketed it and approached it and posted about it and things like that. But that's fine. Like, I learned that for the next one we'll probably do. I mean, we did one, like, 2 months after that one?
We did. Again, money's always needed.
It was crazy.
We're like, cool, that was successful. Let's do this.
Well, and what I don't think people understand is that so we raised the $20,000. Okay, that's gone in a month.
Yeah.
That lasts us like a month with our vet bills. So then it's like, you have to do it again.
Right.
Which, I mean, like, I love it. I wish people would understand.
I wish that people would donate, because often the same people are donating.
Yeah. And it's not, and like, those people are amazing. I want to keep them forever.
100%.
But I don't think people understand that fundraising is like 90% of the nonprofit, and it sucks.
Yeah.
I wish it was not that way, because then we can't focus on the mission as hard. But I do love what I do. I do love fundraising.
Well, some of the things, like, especially on that very first telethon, again, we were treading in waters that we had no idea.
And we were just dealing with the initial wave of COVID.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the pandemic was here. People were freaking out. A lot of people were losing their jobs. We're like, do you ask for money? I mean, we felt horrible about asking for money because we knew people were hurting.
Yeah.
So we kept telling everybody that. We know you're hurting. So if you're hurting, just share. Share the message. Share it with your friends who may not be hurting. But one of the things I thought you really did, I mean, you've done this a million times since then, but I was so impressed because you were getting ready. We're getting ready for a big ask, right? We were for 2 hours, we were just going to beg for money. But you put together all these things. You had a playlist. You got the ingredients for a cocktail that was going to be in there. And I thought those little nuances are really special because you're giving something to them.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what I mean by giving. Well, I think a lot of times I'm like, okay, I wouldn't sign up for a walkathon, for example, for the Red Dog Dash. So how do I make it so that someone like me would want to sign up for a walkathon or watch the telethon or participate in Home for the Holidays, like whatever it was? I think you kind of like, you can't just ask for money. You have to make it fun.
You do.
And I mean, that should be the fun part with you too. I know it's like adding an extra thing, but that's the fun of fundraising.
Yeah, it's fundraising. Yeah, I think that's good. And I mean, I'm like, I mean, Kenzie mentioned, like, I mean, I still hate asking for money. And yes, I know it's not for me. I'm not going to go blow it at Vegas. I'm not going to go on a vacation. You know, Steve and I don't even get paid by the rescue. You know, it's completely 100% volunteer. But I still hate asking for it. I mean, I always say if I win the lottery, I would never fundraise again. I really wouldn't. I would just fund it from my lottery winnings. But, you know, I think really just want to talk about, because you know we did do 2 virtual telethons. We've been doing virtual adoption events for a year now. It's crazy that it's been a year. And you know, you did have a really successful end of the year campaign. So I kind of want you to talk about that and, you know,
Okay, yeah.
Just how you thought about it, how you executed the toolkit, all these things.
Well, one thing I will say too, real quick, going back on what you said earlier, that we hate asking for money. It's like, I guess it sucks so bad because what they're getting in return is joy and feeling compassionate. Sure. They're not getting a pair of shoes in return, and it's just crazy, that mindset we have. Like, it's no different than someone going out to buy a pair of shoes for $50 versus giving us a $50 donation. It's going towards saving a dog. Right. So anyways, getting over that mindset, and then that's just how it works. That was hard. But anyways, home for the holidays. So December 2019, again, this is right when I started being like, can I have more roles at TLRD? You were like, let's do a home for the holidays. And again, I was like, no. I'm always telling PJ no. And then I'm like, okay, you have to just listen and do it and see what happens. And thankfully I did.
Well, just to put that in perspective, Steve and MacKenzie have always been telling me no since I joined the family.
And we also tell him no. That's right. It's always one of us getting up. So anyways, again, my parents, they're stressed. They both work full-time jobs on top of TLRD, and they said, we have to raise the money, so you're going to figure that out, and we're just going to keep doing our stuff. And so that's when we were like, I think we should do home for the holidays. And we did. And that's when Sam and Koji came to the shelter with us, and we met Olaf and everything. Yeah. And I think that really took off because for the first time ever, we were literally showing in real time, yo, we're saving this dog right now. Can you donate right now so we can save this dog that's leg is literally falling off of him?
Because we couldn't take
him.
And
the donations just we couldn't have. We wouldn't have been able to afford it.
You were going to have to leave him at the shelter.
Yeah.
We couldn't.
Yeah. So for people that don't, a lot of you know Olaf. If you don't know Olaf was this dog sitting at the shelter with a severely broken leg. It was gross. He looked so sad. He's in a tiny little cage, and it's not the shelter's fault. They don't have the medical resources to do anything about that. He could have been hit by a car. We don't know what happened to him. And so it was heartbreaking. And for the first time ever, I was like, holy cow, we have to raise the money right now for this dog. We are taking this dog home. This is so sad. And we did. You and me got on Instagram stories, which we really didn't want to do.
I never want to be on them.
I didn't even want to do it. And we were just like, yo, help us save this dog, please. And everyone stepped up, and we did. And we saved Olaf, and we took him home that day, and it was amazing. And that's how Home for the Holidays kind of kicked off in 2019. And I think I had like a super crazy goal to raise $20,000, and I don't think we did it. Those are dogs. Yeah. I don't think we did it. We got really close, We got close, and it was awesome. Yeah. Flash forward to 2020, we're like, let's do Home for the Holidays again. And I'm like, we have to go big. Like, I've got a few fundraisers under my belt now. I was like, let's do this. I did a whole campaign planning thing with Jess. Like, I don't think anyone realizes how much work goes in to any fundraising campaign that anyone does, or any event, or gala, whatever. Right. I spent like 6 weeks planning it. And then that was like 60 days before kickoff, and then we kicked it off, and I came to you and I was like, what do we want our goal, 25,000? And PJ goes, 50. We have to raise 50,000 if we're gonna keep our doors open. And I was just like, holy shit. Okay. And
she didn't let on. She didn't tell me no this time.
No, well, I love an ambitious goal. I mean, we're doing that right now with the Red Dog Dash, but I love an ambitious goal because it means more lives saved. If you don't get it, it sucks, but like, you're still gonna keep going.
You gotta shoot for.
You gotta shoot big.
Swing for the fences.
Yeah.
All those analogies. Yeah. Sports things.
And so we had to figure out how to do it virtually. We usually have a gala at the end of the year, and now I'm realizing that galas are insane because you spend so much money and you make a little bit of money, whereas a virtual campaign, you don't spend that much money and you make a lot more money. I'm okay not going to an event.
I know.
Yeah, I think people miss that, but yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we're going to wrap up here in a couple minutes, but talk about, you did a lot of work. So yes, you put in a lot of effort, but like talk about the toolkit, like all of the little things that you did.
Because it had to be virtual, I was like, okay, I have to do something kind of big or unique or whatever to get people to keep donating online. I think it was 5 to 6 weeks was the total time for Home for the Holidays. So the goal was to sit, and PJ, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. PJ said, I'm worried about all these senior dogs, like Baloo, and you were just like worried about senior dogs and these like medical cases, and you were like, can you just feature them? And I was like, what if we make Home for the Holidays more about like senior dogs or like medical cases or whatever? And so that was kind of how the whole underdog thing came about for Home for the Holidays. So our Home for the Holidays theme was to save 50 dogs that need extra resources, whether that's surgeries or they're just older and have a harder time getting adopted, things like that. So save 50 of those dogs, and that costs like $1,000 per dog, so $50,000. That was crazy. So yeah, I knew I had to do something if I was going to get people to continue donating online over a 5-week period. We decided we were going to do peer-to-peer fundraising, which was our first time ever doing. Well, we did a little bit of it at the scavenger hunt telethon,
right?
But that was kind of opened my eyes to it, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to do something. And I put together a really fun toolkit. Just helped me with that too. A toolkit where everyone that signed up to fundraise got this toolkit. It had everything you needed: social images, stats about TLRD, stats about dog rescue in general, messaging that they could copy and paste and text to their friends, email to their friends, post on social media. I was like, I need to make this so flipping easy for people that they don't even have to think about it, because I think a lot of people don't want to fundraise because they don't know how to do it and it's scary. And I think a lot of people are like, well, what if I don't hit my goal? It's embarrassing.
Right.
So you just have to hype people up. And so every day, once they got the toolkit, then once the campaign started, every day I was hyping everyone up so hard. Like, holy cow, you guys are amazing. Oh my God, you raised $5 today? That's literally so amazing. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, literally playing music on the stories every day, literally dancing on the stories every day to get people hyped up. And then I shared, we saved like a dog a day.
Yeah.
So I was like sometimes more than that, going hard, sharing, like getting any videos and photos I could of those dogs. What's hard about my job is I don't have real time. If I could drive to every single dog we save, I would, because then I would get the amazing videos. But so yeah, I was posting and storytelling as best as I could. You can't just whip it up there and say, hey, we just saved this dog, donate. You need to tell the story of the dog and make people connect to that story and make them want to give towards that dog's medical bills, which isn't easy, but it's fun. What else did we do? I mean, that was so long ago. I think 3 months ago.
I know, it seems like a long time ago. Just really quickly, I think the things that I just really want to say, peer-to-peer, if you don't know what that is, it just means that, you join the team and you go out and ask your friends.
Peers are asking their peers.
Right. So that was huge for us last year. It really did help us.
That raised, I think, $15,000.
Yeah, it's huge.
More than.
And then Toolkit was so important because it was phenomenal, but I mean, it was easy. Like, it's completely idiot proof, so that even people who didn't have a lot of technical capabilities or couldn't create a post or whatever, all of that was right there for them. So I think that's great. I think that's another good point for if you're fundraising for nonprofits. And then MacKenzie's point about storytelling, we all can do it. I don't have time. I personally do know what works. And so every once in a while I'll put a post out there and it's usually successful. I only think because I've been doing this for a long time, but MacKenzie's, kind of really ratcheted that up and, made it where it's part of the stories and then a post and then you'll see it in the email. So it really is, you're hitting people multiple times and you're connecting.
It takes 7 to 11 times for someone to see something before they take action. I love to tell that fact because it's so freaking true and annoying.
It is true. It is annoying.
And PJ always because I always feel like sometimes I'm going too hard, and then PJ's like, no, you need to go harder, you need to email it again, and I'm like, no, we just emailed them, and she's like, but people don't look at their email, or they looked at it and then they got distracted, and it is true. And yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot about it.
But so just I'm gonna toot her own horn. Our goal was 50,000. We did have a lot of participation from everybody, and we MacKenzie did pump them up, but we were very thankful. We got a couple of big donations. A couple of people worked so hard, like Russ Mandel was matching it and doing all these things.
And the loom videos.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Home for the Holidays, and I need to start doing this for Red Dog Dash, was if someone donated, if it was $5 or $500, I would send them a video saying thank you, and this is the dog you literally just saved. And I think that was so awesome for the donor to literally see what dog they were saving. And it's hard to do. I wish I could do that for every single donor that came in, because their dollar does go to a dog.
Right.
So that was fun. And that was, I think, made a huge impact, because there were so many people that came back and donated again before the year ended, because they were like, I want to do that again.
Right.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, our goal was 50,000. We raised over 75,000, and we did save over 50 dogs.
Oh, way over, and big medical cases,
big medical,
like 7 FHO surgeries, which are like 3,000 each.
Right, and and we were very lucky. Hope for Paws did help us with some of those surgeries. So Hope for Paws, shout out. So I know that we're going to wrap up here, but maybe talk the last few seconds, 30 seconds about you talked about Loom. What other tools do you use that helps you?
So we use Give Lively for our fundraising platform.
It's absolutely free.
It is free. I think they just do they ask the donors for a donation to fund it?
They can't. They do. You can cover the cost of your credit card fee or whatever. But
they do make signing up for the peer-to-peer. Now they just released team fundraising, which is what we're doing for the Red Dog Dash. It's super fun. I love how they do it. Yeah, we're big Give Lively fans as a nonprofit. Loom. What else did I use? I mean, our toolkit was a Google Doc. I mean, it wasn't anything super fancy.
So you don't have to. You don't have to have a ton of fancy equipment and a ton of fancy apps. A lot of things. We do use MailChimp.
Yeah,
and if you're just starting out as a nonprofit, there's a free version. So, the more you build your list, it costs. But, I mean, these are things that you should look into because a lot of stuff is either free or really low fees. But those are good things. I'd say the toolkit is really important. And then thanking people.
Oh, yes. I love thanking people. The art of the thank you, as I like to call it. More than just an email thing. And I mean, my dad and PJ, you each send an email thank you if it comes through on your end. But I love having fun with a thank you. So this year, if you donated towards Home for the Holidays and you gave us your shipping address, not everyone did, which is okay. I tried to thank everyone through Loom. But after Home for the Holidays, as a sweet little Valentine's Day surprise, if you gave us your shipping address, you got a fun little postcard in the mail with a painting that Sunny, one of our foster dogs, did. And on the back was a QR code, and you could scan it and see her doing the painting, and just said, Happy Valentine's Day, thanks for supporting us, we love you. And that was so much fun, and so many people loved that.
Got a lot of good kudos on that.
Thank yous take so much time. I know a lot of nonprofits are like, I do not have time for that, and I get it, but you need to find the time for it, because if you want those people to come back, you need to make them feel special.
Exactly. That's a huge point right there, and I think it's a good point to end on. Thank you, MacKenzie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Can we not wear the same sweatshirt next time? Jeez,
Twinsies.
Embarrassing.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to the podcast For the Love of Dog. I'm PJ with MacKenzie, and we will see you later.
Yeah.